I'm almost certain that conservatives are keeping the Star Wars genre alive, like the entire thing alive, because like I don't watch any of the movies. I haven't watched a single Star Wars movie. I don't know who watches them. I guess like they're still popular. I suspect that the IP is like kind of dying out a little bit, kind of drying. I watched Andor. I liked Andor. Never mind. I watched, like, here, I'll give you an example. I watched Mandalorian. I really liked Andor. I watched Mandalorian. I really liked season 1. And I think, yeah, and season 2 as well, I think it came out. What season is it on now? Like the latest season or did season 2 just come out? How many seasons is Mandalorian? Oh, it's 3 seasons. I didn't even know the 3rd season came out. Like, I don't know what Disney is doing. I didn't even hear about it until like someone, I think I saw like a tweet about it or something. And I was like, wow, season 3 came out. Didn't even want to watch it. And for me, it's like, I've always been a firm believer that George Lucas was very good at world building. And I think the universe that he crafted for Star Wars was phenomenal. However, I think the mainline Star Wars films are the worst things that have come out of the Star Wars universe. And I think like Knights of the Old Republic, for example, has a significantly better story and better lore in general than like the original Star Wars. Like the original trilogy is pretty basic stuff. Now the original trilogy is sick. I mean, it's basic. The OG trilogy movies are basic. Like it's good, but it's super basic. It's a super basic story. Come on. And it's not bad. I wouldn't say that it's bad at all, right? I watched the first 6 Star Wars movies, right? I watched the prequels and the original trilogy, and they're all great. It's a very normal story. It's a classic, underdog going up against great odds, that kind of thing. And I haven't really watched anything else other than the first 6. I will say that the world in and of itself is genuinely, yeah, it's the hero's journey plotline, exactly. The world in and of itself is actually very solid. So there's so much you can do in that universe. And I don't know why they always go for like massive world-changing events rather than something like Andor, right? Andor is a great example because it's like, what would a normal guy do? Or even The Mandalorian is pretty decent in that situation because it's like you're not. I think that there's a lot more that you could do. And if you're gonna do world-changing events, if you're going to focus on like real massive world-changing events, like you can make it a little bit more interesting than the regular hero's journey, and focus on something like Knights of the Old Republic. It's funny that they have a vast universe and they tend to focus on the same 5 characters. Yeah. Anyway, so I guess conservatives are kind of keeping this IP alive by constantly chirping about it, though. You know what I mean? So congratulations to the conservatives for keeping Disney alive, for keeping mouths fed. It makes me very happy. They're very, it's great for them. Glad that they're doing that. Star Wars has gone woke, folks. George Lucas, who crafted the story off of the Vietnam War, where America was the bad guys, okay, very deliberately. That George Lucas, his IP has turned into something woke. It's become nonsense. And I think a lot of people mistake the erosion and the never-ending profit-seeking attitude that capitalist megacorporations have in juggling IP and recycling it, wokeness. Because they're oftentimes fascist pieces of shit and also have no way of analyzing media in general. So instead of going, yeah, this kind of sucks, like it's just like getting worse and worse overall because like no one is really interested in making anything new or unique or interesting. And instead they just kind of go, oh, they put a black person in it and that's why it sucks. And it's like, no, dog, that's a you thing, okay? That's a you thing. You saw a black person and you were like, this sucks. And it's kind of weird and gross that you were saying that, okay? Now, having said that, do corporations often engage in that IP juggling, IP recycling with, like, race swapping or whatever? Like, they do that, yeah, or gender swapping. Like, they'll be like, yeah, here's the exact same IP, but this time, what if the main character was black? And it's like, okay, yeah, make something new, dog. Come on. Like, instead of beating a dead horse, make something fucking new. I want to see something new, right? But that goes more in line with what I'm talking about and not what these guys are chirping about.
Is the balance of activating a force for change, but also trying to permeate that patriarchy, that power structure? And is that a part of the calculation of your art as well? And what's been the reaction to that?
Oh, absolutely. I like to make men uncomfortable. I enjoy making men uncomfortable. Not you, just
Not
you
you.
know, not you.
Point taken, point taken.
But, it is important to be able to look into the eyes of a man and say, I am here, and recognize that. And recognize that
It's easier for a studio to make a historical Viking into a black woman than telling a moving historical tale that's set in Africa. Yeah, for sure.
I am working to bring something that makes you uncomfortable, and it should make you uncomfortable because you need to change your attitude. And it's only when you're uncomfortable, when you're shifty, when you have to have difficult conversations that you will perhaps look at yourself in the mirror and not like the reflection, and then say, maybe there is something wrong with the way I think, or maybe there is something wrong with the way I am addressing this issue.
So what happened? People are mad about this. Here's the feminist director of the next Star Wars film saying that her goal is to make men uncomfortable. This movie's destined to be Disney's biggest flop yet. Yeah. Yeah, Matt Walsh is right. Yeah, she said I'm going to use the Star Wars franchise to make men uncomfortable. Be a fucking man is what I say. Okay? Be a man. Why are you, as a man, not dying in war? Why are you, as a man, chirping about, oh my God, Star Wars is going to make me uncomfortable? Why are you, as a man, getting uncomfortable by watching Star Wars? Movie ain't even out yet, and you're already priming yourself to be upset about your Star Wars. Yeah, you as a man should never be uncomfortable, okay? I love dudes who are just like, Marcus Aurelius Meditations, baby. That's on my bedside, you know? I'm the stoic hero. I have no enemies, you know, that kind of thing. And then, except for a female director of the latest Star Wars that's coming out, that you do that to me, you've basically stabbed me in the heart. Okay? I'm a stoic warrior. And what do I like to talk about? As a stoic warrior, nothing phases me except for when I see a clip out of context about the female director of Star Wars, at which point that's the worst thing you could have done to me. Ay, ay, ay.